recording today. Coach Jessica is going to be leading our How to Build Lasting Habits. I'm going to read her bio quickly. Jessica holds a degree in exercise science, a minor in athletic coaching, and is currently studying natural and integrative medicine at Quantum University. She is a holistic health, wellness, and performance coach and has certifications from National Academy of Sports Medicine, Exos, FMS, which is the Functional Movement Systems, Yoga Alliance, and Institute of Motion. She enjoys being of service and has been helping others on their health and fitness journeys. For the past 5 years, growing up, she excelled in athletics and continued playing softball at the collegiate level. She loves learning, spending time outside, staying active in a variety of ways, and sharing her passion for health, nature, nutrition, and exercise with others. She has turned her passion into a mission to teach, coach, and inspire others to take back control of their health, tap into the infinite potential, and elevate their being. Cool. All right, guys, welcome. Here's Coach Jess.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to our Fitness Fridays. Today, we will be talking about how to build lasting habits. And you'll learn simple strategies to help form and keep effective habits from day to day. All right, so what are habits? Habits are the small decisions we make and actions that we perform every day. So it can be, we have healthy habits, we have unhealthy habits, but it's things that we do day to day. According to researchers at Duke University, habits account for about 40% of our behaviors on any given day. So that's quite a bit. That's quite a large percentage of our day to day and what we do. So when we're creating habits, we really want to make sure that they are healthy habits since they do take up so much of our day. So if you would like to share either a healthy habit that you feel you've been able to keep up with for a long period of time in the chat, or a habit that you want to work on and maybe what you want to swap that out for, or some way that you plan to change that habit. Share that in the chat and I'll give you a few seconds to do that, and we'll make this interactive. All right, whoops. Okay, so the identity of who we are is based on our habits, and I think many of us have heard this: we are what we repeatedly do. When trying to change a habit, a lot of times we'll end up focusing on the end goal, so the following sequence, which is the results, actions, and identity, instead of what we really want to do is focus on the identity around the habit, the actions we want to take on the habit, and the results that we're going to get from the habit. So a lot of times we'll see that many habits will fail because we don't see results right away, and we don't see results right away and have enough to justify the actions. So habits will take time, and just because we don't see results within the first week or the first month, it's important to stick with them in order to keep them going. All right, so remember what I just mentioned: identity, actions, then results. From the previous slide, I want you to write that down. Hopefully you grabbed something to write with in a notebook. So write down identity, actions, results. And feel free to also take notes throughout if you'd like, but we'll also be recording this and posting it on our YouTube page as well. So identity is your belief, and the action is the process of attaining the desired outcome, which is the result. Many of our habits are outcome-based, so we focus on the result and the outcome and what we want to achieve. So for example, if we want to lose 20 pounds or eat better, become stronger, have more energy, improved mood, things like that, That's going to be what we want to achieve and the results of changing our habits. So just by focusing on the results, we can become demotivated, especially if weight loss is our goal. If it plateaus, it can get frustrating if we don't continue to lose weight, or if we get a couple of bad nights sleep, or have a hiccup in our process to changing the habit. It'll cause us to become demotivated. So when we focus on identity-based habits, we want to focus on who we wish to become, then take the actions, and the results will follow. So if we want to lose weight, that's going to be our result. We want to become the person that moves every day. And then taking action on that. Therefore, maybe walking 10,000 steps a day, and then the result of losing weight will come over time. Another example would be if we want to gain more energy, then we want to be the person that makes sure we get 7 hours of sleep or 8 hours of sleep a night. So we want to change something that we do that might be preventing us from getting that amount of sleep. So that could be anywhere from turning off the TV, not checking emails or scrolling through our phone, or doing any work within an hour of going to bed. Therefore, we're going to get a better quality sleep. All right, so getting rid of bad habits. And what causes habits in the first place? A lot of times it can be stress or boredom, or something we developed when we were younger, or from watching maybe our parents or something, or just being surrounded by our peers. It could be a habit that we started to do over a long period of time, and just never changed it. So they address a need, and most likely an immediate one. So an example of a unhealthy habit would be snacking too much on unhealthy foods throughout the day, maybe just because we're bored and we're at home and it's easy access, or something like constantly feeling the need to check our phone, always feeling the need to have coffee every single morning just to get our day started. There's other healthier ways to go about changing those habits. So how can we replace them? We want to choose a substitute for the habit. So sometimes it's not the best to just take away the habit or restrict something, but we want to kind of replace it with something of a more healthier habit. So if we say, for instance, we drink a lot of sodas, instead of just restricting and cutting that out, because that could actually in turn make us want it more, we want to maybe replace it with a bubbly or sparkling water or something like that, or just drinking more water in place of that. Instead of checking our Facebook or our emails all the time, or Instagram, maybe we could read a book instead, or go for a walk instead of watching the news. So replacing it with something healthier and something that may uplift our mood more is going to be more important than just restricting it in general. So we want to make the habit invisible and difficult. So remove the trigger of the habit, and make it like unattractive to want to do it. For instance, if we're snacking a lot throughout the day, one way is to either keep them in the garage or out of sight, and put healthier snacks in sight, or not buy them as often and even bringing them into the house. Another example would be if we charge our phone, or have our phone in the same room, and we're trying to not be on our phone as much, maybe keep it in another room, or charge it in another room, or put it on airplane mode for a certain amount of time. So it's just like difficult and not as easy to access it. Makes it a little more inconvenient. And then again, when you slip up on something, or like say one day you just had a rough day staying on track with your goal, with changing the habit, try to schedule a replacement habit into your day, or break it down into more manageable pieces, and also not beat yourself up if you do slip up a little bit. So I want everyone to think of a habit you would like to change, write it down underneath what we wrote down earlier, and also write down a substitute for how you're going to make the trigger inconvenient or unattractive. All right, so ways we can create better habits: making it easy, like we mentioned earlier, so that you can't say no. This is also known as the 2-minute rule. Motivation will ebb and flow with the habit changing, and by reducing the task down to just 2 minutes, we can remove the having to motivate yourself step. So we also want to make it obvious. So just like we removed the triggers of the bad habit, we want to make the triggers for the good habit really accessible and obvious. So a way we can do this is if you maybe scrolling in bed is something that you want to change, scrolling on your phone, checking, or just sitting on your phone in bed, instead of having the phone near the bedside, put a book there on your nightstand. So then it's just so easy to grab that book instead of your phone. I mentioned one earlier. If you're trying to decrease like unhealthy snacking throughout the day, maybe put fruits and veggies on the counter, like a big bowl of colorful fruits, or some veggies right when you open the fridge. So then it's just so obvious that you're gonna want to choose that instead. So write down your 2-minute habit and how you'll make it obvious underneath.
In the chat, yeah, that's we've got a lot of bad habits written down, but we'd like some, changes that Jess was just talking about. Maybe write some of your suggestions in the chat so you can share with others.
Yes. All right. Everyone got their 2-minute habit down and how they're going to make it obvious? Okay, so more strategies on how to make changes. So we want to make it attractive and enjoyable and also rewarding. So if we're wanting to move more, but we hate running, then maybe that's not the way we are going to move more. So we want to pick something else that's more attractive and enjoyable for us, that's going to get you up and moving more. And that's going to look different for everyone. When it comes to eating, if we're wanting to lose weight and change our healthy eating habits, simply not eating and restricting too many calories isn't the healthiest way to go about weight loss. So maybe it's picking healthier substitutes for your sweet tooth. If you have a sweet tooth, maybe it's not depriving yourself fully of all the sweets, because like I mentioned, that could actually in turn backfire and you'll eat more of them. Maybe it's just picking something different to satisfy that and replacing it so you're not depriving yourself. And that could be something as simple as fruits. Fruits are a great way to help with a sweet tooth, or there's so many healthier alternatives.
Eric has a good comment here in the chat. He mentioned that he brushes his teeth early in the evening to avoid snacking at night. I like that one.
That is a good one. Yeah, that's a really good one.
And then Brian mentioned in reply to Esson's comment about watching a lot of Netflix. He said he just puts his cell phone or his iPad right on his treadmill or on his spin bike, and he's able to still move while still getting that, that fix for Netflix, which is pretty cool.
Yes, getting both there then. So you're moving, but you're also doing something that you may enjoy. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, guys. Keep it up. So another way that can help keep us motivated week to week is at the end of the week, if you stuck to what your goal was with the habit, the 2-minute habit, then reward yourself at the end of the week with something that you enjoy. Another strategy could be creating a habit tracker. So placing it where it's visible, maybe on your desk or on your fridge, where every day you complete the task that you're looking to complete to help with the habit. Then put an X there, and also finding an accountability partner can really be beneficial as well. So we want to really focus on taking things day by day. I feel like that kind of goes back to the results, where if we're focusing too much on the results, and like maybe like if it's like a 30-day challenge, that might be we're focusing on the end day and the end result, where if we take things day by day, we're more likely to stay on track and focus on getting 1% better each day. We win a bunch of small battles before we can win the war. So start small and gradually improve. So for instance, if moving more is going to be your habit that you want to start creating, then maybe starting with only, even if it's just a 10-minute walk a day, if you've been really sedentary, or 30 minutes a day, 10 to 30 minutes a day or something, just around the block. Or if buying coffee out is something because you want to increase finances and also just not spend as much on coffee, and maybe you could make it at home or put the $5 in a jar and make changes in that way. And again, if you fall off, get back on track as quickly as possible without beating yourself up. All right, so recap and action plan on everything we went over. Think again about the habit that you would like to change or remove, and what you would like to replace that habit with. So if you haven't already wrote this down, then write it down, and think about really the person that you would like to become. Strategize on how you will make your bad habits more difficult to do or less rewarding. Maybe keep a journal throughout your day on how you did. Write down cues that will make your gateway to the habit be obvious. Then from there, what's your 2-minute gateway habit that you can effortlessly do every day? Do you have an accountability partner, a calendar, or some type of reward system that will positively reinforce your good habits? And if you do fall off the wagon, what is your plan to get back on? And if not now, then when? All right. Many of these strategies were taken from James Clear's Atomic Habits. So that's
Jess, we could open up to any pressing challenges that anyone has that they'd like to talk about. We could open it up to questions for Jess or to our staff here. We got Donna on the call.
Yes. Does anyone have any questions?
We are recording this, and it's spotlighted on Jess this time, so it won't be in the grid format. Thanks to Debbie last time. I think you're here as well.
Hey, Donna. Let's see. Anyone want to pop on and ask any questions live? How'd we do in the chat?
We're doing great here. We got some really good positive feedback from Brian. He says that what helps curb the evening snacks is having his wife on board. So the social support, that's a huge one.
Accountability, yeah.
Good mention there, Brian. Yeah. And Venkata?
I see. Did anyone read Atomic Habits? I personally have not read it. Actually, we can thank Patrick for this presentation. He put it together. I'm assuming he read it. But yeah, he put it together. He has class at this time. So
yeah, it's a great book, and there are some YouTube videos of James Clear on how he talks about identity management and how 1% improvement is the key and the process you need to set up. And a lot of things that should be rewarding, like cravings, and then how you curb them. And there's this cycle of habits that you need to always monitor. And that would help you a lot. It's amazing how that will work, and how you stack the habits is like even more powerful. Habit stacking, and it's a great book. Yep.
Wow.
There's a video too. Yeah. I really like it. So I recommend everybody who wants to make habits to read that. Or it's all about like creating an identity. Like, what do you want to be? It's more like it's a journey more than a goal. Like, say, I want to do 50 push-ups. So that's just the goal. But what do you want to be? I want to be an athlete. That's
Okay.
identity you want to be. So you would work towards that identity by forming these new habits. I really like the concept. It's powerful, and it's very good. You can work on your own pace. And yeah, thanks for bringing it up. It's very beneficial, I believe, to everybody.
Yeah,
Excellent.
thanks for sharing that for sure. And I like that example, and it's like creating that identity, and it's about the why behind it. Like, well, why do you want to do 50 push-ups, like you said? So I think that's important, and it seems like that was very beneficial to fulfilling the habit change.
Lark has a question for you. Jess, he's wondering, any suggestions for journaling?
Journaling, like how to get started, or what to journal?
Lark, are you here? Can you elaborate a little bit?
If it's how to get started, one way, I really enjoy journaling, and so I'll keep my journal by my bedside, and then wake up in the morning and it's right there, so I can just grab it. And I grab, usually my goal is to grab that instead of my phone. So, and then a lot of things that I'll write in it are maybe like maybe things I'm grateful for, affirmations, what I want to the day to how I want the day to go, or like goals I have, things like that. Does that answer your question? But another thing you can do with journaling is journal in the evening too. So that's kind of the opposite, where you would kind of reflect on your day. So that's been something I would like to start more on, more of the reflection and things you can maybe do better for the next day.
That's great. Yeah, Lark says thanks. And how to start? I think you answered that by keeping it on your bedstand. That's excellent.
Yeah.
For me, it's a good way to kind of unwind at night. I like to journal or just write down any things that I have on my to-do list. So it's out of my brain and I don't have to think about it throughout the night. I just write it down, and the next morning it'll remind me that I have that thing to do the next day.
Yeah.
Great. I'm a little bit more visual, and so sometimes I write and sometimes I just doodle, and that's a way that I can just stay committed to just putting, even if it's just 5 minutes of doodling, it's almost like a visual meditation. And it's time disconnected from my phone, and sometimes that leads into something I want to write about, or that whole concept of who do I want to be. So if you're not super wordy, maybe you're more visual. Maybe you invest in some pens or some markers or crayons, or if you have littles in your house that have stickers, things that are engaging and that make it unique and personal to you and how you want to express yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Unique individuality. I loved how you mentioned the colors, because I actually do that. I get like the 5 bright colors for Pilot, and they just make it so much, I don't know, more enjoyable.
It's fun. Who says you have to stop coloring just because you've become an adult?
Right. Yeah, thanks for that question. That was great. Is it Venkata?
Yeah, I love that one. I was just going to mention that.
Yeah, identify and journal small wins, like we mentioned, the 1% improvements. That's really good. And Eric says, I do a 3 good things journal almost every day. I like that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I like celebrating the small wins. Those are huge. Good suggestion there, Rebecca. Yeah. Just makes the little accomplishments feel like something, and we need that, especially now. So cool. If anybody has any other questions, go ahead and add them to the chat now. Otherwise, we're going to start wrapping up. And I think in 2 weeks, we have another Fitness Friday event coming up.
To that point, if you guys want to put in the chat maybe topics or workouts or things that you'd like to see in our Fitness Friday fitness events, let us know. Either email the coaches directly, you can email me, or you can put it in here in the chat and just kind of let us know what you'd like to hear from us.
Yeah, we'd love to hear if you're interested in moving a little bit more, or if you like today's format. We'd be open to do either format or a little bit of both.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know.
All right, guys. I got it 12 o'clock. I'm going to stop recording. Thanks for coming today, guys. Good job, Jess.
All right, guys. Great job, Jess. Thank you, everyone.